Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. I wanted to come to you today with a book tag. And since it is St. Patrick's Day, happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone who celebrates that. Since it's St. Patrick's Day, I thought I would do the St. Patrick's Day book tag. And I saw this earlier today on Aaron Read a Book. And I thought, you know what? I can do that. I can do that tag pretty easy. And so I went up and I collected some books, and yeah, I'm gonna do the tag for you. So I hope you enjoy this. Anybody out there who's never done it, feel free to do this one. I know tomorrow won't be St. Patrick's Day, but it's only one day late, and tomorrow's Tag Tuesday, so it'd be a great opportunity for you to do this one. So anyway, let me go ahead and get started with the prompts for the St. Patrick's Day book tag. And so I got all these wrote down, so here we go. Your favorite green colored book or movie and so I was going through all of my shelves trying to find a green colored book, and I had a couple of them here. The one that I chose, though, because it asked for my favorite, I went to one of my favorite authors and I picked out one of his shorter books, Bleachers by John Grisham. And this is just an excellent book, and you can see all of the green from the football field. So this is not his typical law thriller. It is a sports book, and it's about a football coach who has coached for a long time in this small town, and he's made a huge impact on people's lives, some positive, some negative, just like any legendary coach, right? And it is his time to die, and all of his players are coming to the football field for the vigil, and they're all kind of just waiting. Everybody knows it's coming. He has suffered from some physical ailments, and yeah, it's his time to die, and all his players are coming back, and they're reminiscing about the good, the bad, and the ugly from playing with the coach. Let's see. And it all centers around Neely Crenshaw, who was the quarterback for one of the more famous teams that Coach Eddie Rake coached. So Eddie Rake is the name of the coach that's dying. But they're all reminiscing and, like I said, looking back at the good and the bad and the ugly. Just like, a lot of us who played high school sports, when coaches pass away, that's what tends to happen. So there's what I picked for that one. Question number 2. Your favorite St. Patrick's Day themed book or movie? Okay, so this one is one that I had planned to read this month for March Mystery Madness, and it was perfect for this prompt, The St. Patrick's Day Murder, a Christine Bennett mystery by Lee Harris. And Lee Harris has a whole series of these. He's got a Valentine's Day, a Christmas, and Easter. He's got all kinds of them. And this one's the St. Patrick's Day Murder. Now, I have not read this one, but I thought I couldn't pass it up with, a theme like that. You just couldn't. And so that's the one I'm going to pick. Excuse me. Okay, so question number 3. Corned Beef and Cabbage. A book and or movie that made you hungry. So the book that made me hungry was another short novel, sports novel by John Grisham, and it's Playing for Pizza. And this is about a quarterback who makes a major error in the NFL and then gets booted to the European League. And this is like small time European League, and he's playing in Italy. And throughout the book, the reason I picked this one, throughout the book, he does talk about the Italian food. And I have a fellow subscriber to my channel, and we message back and forth, talking about the latest John Grisham books, and that's always something that comes up in her discussion, is how she loves how he describes food in the book, and he's very detailed in this. And Rick Dockery is the third string quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in the AFC Championship game against Denver. To surprise and dismay of virtually everyone, Rick actually got into the game. With a 17-point lead and just minutes to go, Rick provided what was arguably the worst single performance in the history of the NFL. Overnight, he became the national laughingstock and, of course, was immediately cut by the Browns and shunned by all the other teams. So he has some major errors go on in the game, and nobody wants him. So that's why he's over in Italy, and that's why he's eating all of the wonderful, wonderful food. So let's just go ahead and move on here. Number 4, 4-leaf clover. A book or item that was a rare or good luck find. A book or an item that was a rare or good luck find. Now for me, and if you guys follow the channel, you understand why I'm picking this. Being an American history teacher and a lover of American history, my wife found this. I don't know how rare it is. I have not seen it in any other place, although I'm sure there's plenty out there. But the late, great David McCullough wrote a really good book on just the year 1776, where he kind of centers around what George Washington does throughout that year and what happens in the American Revolution. And this is the illustrated edition, and it's a pretty sweet box set. As you can see, I'm not going to open it all up, but I thought it was a pretty good find. And I didn't find it. My wife actually found that. And so she, in her generous mood that she was in, got that for me. So thank you to my wife for that. Question number 5, Irish whiskey. A book so bad that you would need a drink to get over it. Now, you guys know the one that I'm probably, if you follow the channel for any time, you know what's getting ready to be thrown up here. Yes, J.D. Salinger's A Catcher in the Rye, or The Catcher in the Rye, excuse me. For me, this is like, it ranks up there as one of the all-time worst books I've ever read. I did not like it. I'm going to have to go back and reread it and just, give it a second shot, but it was terrible. Yeah, need a drink to get over that one. But since I've talked and I would say raved, but not in a good way, on that book, I've ranted on that book in past videos. I picked a different book to throw up here as well. And this one, it just didn't do anything for me. It's supposed to be one of this author's best books, Charles Dickens' Bleak House. And I read this monster of a book, got through it, and I kind of scratched my head and was like, what did I just read? What did I just spend all that time reading? It was not my favorite book. It was one of these books where, sometimes you read and you get to going and you get 2 or 3 pages down the road and then you're like, what did I just read? And you have to go back and reread. That was this one in many different places, and I just did not like it. And part of that may be something I've discovered about myself as a reader is I don't think I like this time period for reading. I didn't like what was it I read? Was it a Jane Austen book that I read, I think? I don't know. I don't like 1800s, the style of writing. It is not my favorite. I struggle to keep up with it. So I'm just learning that about myself as a reader. Sometimes you got to go out on a limb and try new stuff, and these are some of the new things I've tried, and I've found out why I've stayed away from them. So, and that's no offense to anybody out there. I know that there's a lot of people that love Charles Dickens and Jane Eyre and Jane Austen and all of those type of books, and they are just not my type. So the next one is Irish Dancing, a book so good it made you want to dance in excitement. And this was a Christmas present given to me by my daughter Crimson, and it is Forrest Gump by Winston Groom. And I have not had a chance to talk to you guys about this one. This book was absolutely phenomenal. It was funny. It was sad. It kept me going. It was a very fast read. it was just really, really good. It does not follow the movie entirely. Like the movie follows the general idea, but it does not have nearly as many events as they had in the book. And then the storyline at the end with Forrest and Jenny does not end the same in the movie as in the book. I don't want to do any spoilers, but I may have actually even liked the movie a little better with the ending than I did with this one. But this story overall was absolutely hilarious and just kept me laughing. Like, I literally laughed out loud. I did it one morning, and I know my wife could hear me upstairs. She was in bed, hadn't gotten out of bed yet, but she could hear me laughing. And then I did it again during SSR, sustained silent reading. We did that 20 minutes every day at school, and I was reading this book for my SSR book, and I laughed out loud. And I know I had half the class looking at me like I was a weirdo, but I don't really care. But this was so incredibly good. Forrest Gump, the town and self-proclaimed here town idiot, and here 6'6", 242 pounds, and self-possessed a scant IQ of 70. Forrest Gump is the lovable, surprisingly savvy hero of the classic comic tale. His early life may seem inauspicious, but when the University of Alabama's football team drafts Forrest and makes him a star, it sets him on an unbelievable path that will transform him from Vietnam hero to world-class ping pong player, from wrestler to entrepreneur, and now Forrest is telling all in a madcap romp through 3 decades of American history. So, I mean, it follows, the movie and the book follow each other to an extent, but there's a lot of differences. So it's very worth your time. There's enough differences that you're going to want to pick this up, because my guess is you're going to laugh out loud. But he makes enough just dumb mistakes. Some of the stuff that happens to him is just funny. Anyway, moving on. The next one is... number 7 is Ireland, a book that made you travel to a different country. And this can be travel in your mind or in real life. So I have one I picked, but I wanted to just hold this one up because I just thought it was appropriate. Edward Rutherford is an author that anytime he writes anything, that I have read anyway, I've read a couple of his, and I end up traveling to that place. He's such a good historical fiction writer. I read his book on New York. That's the one that comes to mind. It was so good. But I picked this one up. I have not read it yet, but I picked it up just because I thought maybe this one would fall into the prompt quite well. So The Princes of Ireland. And, Ireland, I don't know of any... I want to go see the castles and stuff, and all the pictures make it look just absolutely beautiful. So I am guessing that Rutherford's going to do it again in that book and make me want to travel there. But the one that I actually picked for this prompt originally, before I saw that, I kind of glanced up at the shelf and I was like, oh yeah, I got to throw that one in. The one that I picked was Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. I read... the end of last year, I believe, the end of the year, I ended up reading the original version finally got through it. Even left a bookmark in there. Huh. I got through it. I don't know why I left that in there. But anyway, absolutely wonderful book. I love it. His writing, you end up going on the journey with Robinson Crusoe. You end up starting in Europe, going to South America, sailing on, getting trapped on a deserted island, or what he thought was a deserted island. There are some neighboring islands with people that cause some mischief. But that book was so good, and I felt like such a kid, because when I was a kid, now I don't have the exact version that I read as a kid. I need to find it. I think it was like a Scholastic version or something, or Apple. Wasn't that... Scholastic Apple or something. I don't know. The kids, those versions of the books that you read in school. I read the Robinson Crusoe from that, so it's like not translated, but what's the word I want? it's been redone for kids. So same storyline, but rewritten for easier understanding. So I picked this one up because this is another one that's, it's been rewritten so that you can understand it a little bit better versus the older English. But this book, when I was a kid, the reason I brought down this one as well is when I read it as a kid, I just daydreamed and daydreamed and daydreamed about being stuck on a deserted island and trying to make it, just trying to survive, just like Robinson Crusoe did. And I just, even to this day as an adult, every once in a while, I daydream about this story, Robinson Crusoe. This did so much for my active imagination when I was a kid and just got me into the love of reading. This is one of those books that made me a reader. I know Mark over at Book Time with Elvis has been doing a series of videos here of late, and I can't remember exactly what they're titled, but it's basically the books that made him. And he's going back to some of those kid stories, and this is one of those stories that made me. And I'm thinking about doing a series of videos just like that, like what he's doing. There's another book right there that I'm going to end up talking about. But anyway, a book that made me a reader, made me love reading, made me see how my imagination could just take off, and absolutely love it. Great adventure story. All right, so let's see here. Last of the prompts is number 8, the pub. A meeting place and a book you'd love to go to. So the book that I chose for this is Paris, 1919 by Margaret Macmillan. And the reason I chose this, I love learning about World War I. I think it's pretty fascinating. And I've been reading a lot more books in the last year or two on World War I specifically. And this is one that I found, it was a few years back. I bought it and I just hadn't had a chance to get to it. And I want to get to it. And so for the prompt, a meeting place in a book you'd love to go. So of course they meet at the Versailles Palace there outside of Paris. And that's the World War I peace treaty that they come up with. And I would absolutely love, first of all, to just go visit France. I think it would be super cool. I'd love to see the castles and stuff all over the countryside and the manor houses and stuff like that. But I would love to go to Versailles and see the palace where they held this meeting. That's the meeting place that I would like to go to. So, and hey, being the history fan, the girls in the house don't always like to do all the history stuff I do. I think I could even get them on board with this one. So that's a win-win, right? So yeah, that is my place, my meeting place, the pub. So that brings us to the end of this tag. There's only 8 questions. Pretty simple tag. I invite everyone to do it. But I do have 2 people specifically that I would love to hear their answers to this. And the first one is Jason Herrigan. And I would love to tell you his channel, but he's been on BookTube, off BookTube, on, off. And I don't even know what his current channel, if he even has one. I'm not sure, but I would love to hear his answers to this. And if he does have a channel that's actually active or a little bit active, I'm going to have to make sure that I subscribe to it, because I've subscribed to the last couple 3. I don't know if he keeps getting rid of them because of me or what, but anyway, I would love, since he's from Ireland, he lives in Ireland, I would love to hear what his answers are. And then I also found another person from Ireland that I would really love to hear the answers to this tag, and that would be Martine. And she does, what do you call it? She pops up over at Peg at the History Shelf, pops up in her videos every once in a while. They did a Agatha Christie series year and a half ago that she was helping to video and discuss Agatha Christie books, the Miss Marple books, and she is from Ireland, and I would absolutely love to hear her answers to this. So Martine, you have been tagged in this, and I want to hear your answers. I'm challenging you to get a video up. So anyway, BookTube, that is my St. Patrick's Day book tag. I hope everyone is having a great day out there, getting some reading done. I hope you've had some corned beef and hash or some Reubens. I think we're having Reubens tonight. We're eating leftovers because we did all our corned beef and cabbage over on Saturday night. And so we kept all the leftovers, and we're having Reubens tonight. So you can't get any more Irish than that, right? So, BookTube, I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope that you're just getting a lot of reading done. Thank you for watching the video. And until next time, happy reading.